We want to take a look at how to handle events in that of the Tkinter, and we're going to take a look at something like maybe a button click or something like a key press, and eventually we're going to just take a look at key presses on this particular one. All right, so I do have a file that I've created that I call the event.py. You can go ahead and create your own file right now. And what we want to do is to go ahead right here. I've actually imported my Tkinter module in there, and I've created my main root right here, and we can actually run the stuff right here by just doing root, and we're going to do .main loop right there, and this alone should be able to run the application for us. So we do have this environment right here. We do not actually have anything inside of it yet, so I'm going to just basically close that for now. And then what I want to do, the first thing I want to do right here is just I'm going to create a function maybe up here, and to do that, let's just go ahead and call the function something like a on key underscore press. And if you have that right there, what do we basically want to do within this particular function that we do have in here? Of course, we're going to basically create a label. So this is going to be label, and we'll go ahead and then configure the label. So we do .config, and within this config right here, we're going to need the text in there, and the text that we basically want to see in that particular place is going to be, I'm going to just simply say something like key press. So let's do something like key press. And if we do key press right here, if we want to like basically allow the people who are basically using the application to see the key that they pressed, we can go ahead and then maybe pass in the right here. We're going to first of all pass in the event parameter in here for that of the Tkinter, and then for that and then if we have that passed into that place, we can just eventually get in here and then once we just throw in our curly brackets in here, we can just eventually say something like event, and we can just do, let's make sure type event correctly, and we do .char right here if we basically want to display the characters right here. All right, so maybe in terms of a text or something like that, we can just do char right here for as char right there. All right, so we do have that in that particular place right now. All right, so down here we do have our, what is it called, the title of the application, but we can actually create this particular label right here, because the way that it is right now, it should actually be like giving an error. So if we create a label right here, go ahead and set that to be equal to, and what we want to do, we're going to just do .tk dot, and this is going to be label for the label we want to create. And then within this brackets right here, we first of all need to pass in our root in here, and if we pass in our root, the next one is actually going to be the text that we want, and we're going to just basically set that to something like press any key. So to do that, we're just going to just say press any key, and if you eventually press any key, we should be able like grab onto the key that has been pressed and then try to like show that right here, all right, from this particular function that we got up there. So that's just basically what that is actually going to do for us. Now if we save the application and then run this, we would not actually see this particular text on the screen yet, this particular label, and that is because we haven't actually packed it yet. And if we want to pack that, we can just do label dot pack like that. All right, and with that line, we must have actually packed that to the screen for us to be able to see that. Now before we go ahead and then run this application, we need to look for a way to actually bind the key event that has been pressed. So let's put a comment in here. We'll just move that a little bit down and just do bind key pressed or something like that. So press the events, let's just say press event, not press the event right here. And if you want to do that, it's really very simple. All you need to do, we're going to just pick our root in here and just do .bind. We're going to use bind method in here to be able to bind that. And to do that right here, we need to, I want to do a less than sign right here and just do key, and with capital letter we'll just do press in there. We'll start press right there. All right, so we do have that in there. So that's the first parameter. The next one we need to do is to pass in that function right here, this on key press. I'm going to just copy this right here and then pass that as the second argument within this particular place, and then we'll save the changes right here, and the line down here is just basically going to run the application. So if we run this right here, okay, we do have an error. We need to look for what the error is really talking about right here, self underscore bind. So if we I think right, so I think the error is just really coming from here. So we'll just do an equality sign in here, then save the changes, and then if we run this again, and I think we still have an error, and we just the all right, so I think for this particular error right here, I think it's referring to this particular event type right here. So this is going to be capital letter K right there. You understand? This is just like Kemo case or something like that. I don't know whether it's actually called Kemo's case or Pascal case. So I'm just starting every letter right here, every word right here with a capital letter right here. Okay, so if you save the changes and then we'll run these, they should have kind of run by now. So you see that right there. So if you press any key, you're going to see that's going to like print the key right there. So if I press K, if I press L, 0, yeah, right there. If I press 1 on the keyboard, it's also going to, okay, it's not really reporting the digits right here, but it's reporting all the errors right here. I think it's just because we used something like char right here. That's just basically why it's not reporting digits right there. So what if we do something like int right here? Save the changes and run the code again, and let's see what is going to happen. And then if we go back, I think it's already running. So let's open this up. And if I press B, all those things is no longer working. But if I press 1, 2, 3, so even these ones are really not even working right here. So what's happening? Wow. I think let's return this back to char first of all. If I save the changes and then run that again, let's stop and run this again. And it's really running right now. And of course, the letters are actually working. But if I press, okay, I think it, okay, wow. I think it depends on where you're actually pressing the numbers right there. Okay, so I was pressing the numbers on the right hand side of the num lock right here, and that was the reason why it wasn't actually working, right? And I think maybe until you press the num lock and begin to press the keys out there, that's the only time they can actually work, all right? So you see that all of the things are actually working right here, all of the keys, all right? And except when you press enter, and the reason for that, why when you press enter and it's not really working is because there is also an event for when you press an enter key, even the space bar, all right? So you can just do that differently if you want to check those type of events. Even your mouse movement can also be an event. All right, so I think if you want to work with the enter key right here, you change this to first of all, let's change this to a return. Not really this, so let's change this to return right here, and then we want to change this from what it is right now to this right here, which is key event.keysym right there. And then if we save the changes, and we should be able to let's make it this way, save the changes, and we should be able to like see the changes right there. So with return, you should be able, like if you press the enter key, you should detect that you have an enter key pressed, right? So let's stop this and then run that again. All right, so we have that right here. So if you press the enter key, you see we do have something like return right here. So that's just basically your enter key. And all right, so that is just that on that line. So we also have another event that is actually called a motion. All right, we can also use motion right here. In fact, what I'm going to do is let me create a new file in here, and we can just basically call that something like motion. And I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to paste the code in here, and I'm going to just basically show you that. So look at what I'm just basically doing right here. I've imported the Tkinter and then defining my function right here, passing in the event right here, and I'm just configuring the mouse or movement right here. All right, so if I move it through the y-axis, I want it to like detect and say something to me, all right, as I do that. All right, so we do have the title right here that says move motion tracker right here, and then we're just basically trying to the text that we want that to just like basically say. All right, so move the mouse, and this is just the what is it, this is just talking about the size of the label that we're just gonna actually display right here. And down here we're just basically binding the motion right here. So let me save the changes without wasting time and run the code. And what I want to do, I want to like make this look a little bit, you see when I move my mouse button right here, depending on the direction that I'm moving that to, see what is just basically happening up here. You understand the coordinate to which where I'm moving my mouse to. So that's just basically what that is when it comes to motion event. So we do have other one like button 1, button 2, and just go ahead and then feel free to study those on your own. So we have several other events that you can actually encounter with that of the Tkinter right there. So I'm just basically going to stop right here, and I think you guys kind of understand this to a great level, and I think I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.